Imagine yourself as someone owning hundreds of acres of land, but not being able to do anything with it. You've inherited it, but you're no farmer, so what do? Of course, you find farmers who can make a good use of it for you and the whole country. And later? Of course, you share the profits made from the harvest of the land. That's basically what crypto staking is. If you hold any crypto coins like those pieces of land, you can always put them to work and earn profit from it. To better understand what staking is, it's a good idea to get a sense of the technology beneath it. Blockchains, digital networks consisting of transaction information, operate on different so-called consensus mechanisms. A consensus mechanism determines how a blockchain works. The most popular two are proof of work or POW and proof of stake or POS. Compared to the proof of work method where transactions require lots of computing power, mathematical puzzle solving, and are pretty slow, proof of stake is a very different kind. Firstly, it is much more energy efficient and faster. For proof of stake to work, it requires you to show the ownership of tokens to participate. If you stake your kept tokens, that means that you compete for becoming a so-called node validator who confirms that a transaction can be made. The coins then move from A to B. And if you don't know what nodes are, it's pretty simple. You can imagine a big old family of farmers connected with each other in family ties. Those ties are not just biological connections, but also valuable information about the history of those members, passed down from generation to generation. So, nodes in blockchain are similar. They store valuable transaction information among the blocks and grow as new blocks appear. Coming back to the farmer family, a new tie appears when a baby farmer is born. As a security and reliability measure, proof of stake uses the slashing principle. See yourself as a landowner again for a second. Once you let farmers work on it, the most harm would be done if you suddenly changed your mind and backed down. After all, the seeds have been sowed, and plants take time to grow. Only after one season can all of you benefit from the profit generated with the help of the land. Or, in the crypto world, the particular blockchain network. If someone who stakes their coins goes offline, they cannot be held as an accountable transaction validator. So their staked coins can be slashed for a valid punishment. The staking users need to accept the responsibility of validating a node to get the sweet harvest. There can be many people staking in the network at the same time and, so to say, indirectly fighting on the system so that they would get the reward. There are different ways how the winner could be selected, and it depends on the smart contract, a piece of code that tells how the particular blockchain runs. To give a real-life example, in the Ethereum blockchain, the pick is random to ensure fairness in the network. One more nice thing about proof-of-stake blockchains is that by holding tokens, you usually gain some governance rights to participate in the governance of the network. How exactly the voting happens is different on every blockchain, so stay curious and read terms of any project you join. Ultimately, since the proof of stake seems to be much more scalable and therefore applicable in the world, there's a great potential for the proof of stake networks to grow much larger than proof of work networks and develop many more financial products. For example, the second largest blockchain, Ethereum, this summer is moving fully to the proof of stake. So that's shortly about the good things. What about the risks involving the technology? There are a few. The truth is that often proof of stake networks are more centralized than their cousin networks proof of work. It's still quite difficult to govern a complex network with thousands of users, so usually for some major developments, there's a group of people who understand the ecosystem and make informed decisions about it. In addition, there's risk to the way governance is handled in proof-of-stake networks. It can become quickly skewed as the more governance tokens someone has, the more voting rights they have. This is seen as a challenge to solve by some prominent blockchains like Ethereum. And finally, because of the quickly growing number of users and high volatility, proof-of-stake networks experience high inflation, and we explain this more in depth in another video on our channel. Now let's get back to our main topic, crypto staking. Why has it become such an attractive investment opportunity to many? Firstly, pretty high earnings are possible as you get rewarded for staking your coins. As the network grows, it needs more and more users to enable transactions happening, and you can earn from providing your own coins. In the Ethereum network, you should be a pretty land-rich farmer with 32 ETH to become a validator and stake your coins. The barrier is quite high, however, there are other ways and other chains where you could stake smaller amounts. Secondly, with staking, you can help maintain the security of your chosen blockchain network and, in general, support the idea of crypto networks globally. And that is something anyone involved in crypto needs: more money moving around and higher liquidity in the network. However, there are some things or risks to think about before starting to stake your chosen crypto coins. Let's go through all of them one by one. The locking period. If you stake your coins, keep in mind that for a while, maybe even the whole year, you won't be able to use them or cash them out. It depends on your chosen network's terms for how long they will be frozen. Then, once you learn to handle your crypto wallet, keep in mind that if something goes wrong, for example, you lose the wallet and the private key with which you can access your account, it might be that no one will be able to help you. Many blockchains don't have the traditional customer support who could investigate a suspicious transaction or renew your access to your blockchain account easily. It can be a hurdle. And then, if you stake in a delegated way, that is, you ask someone with the knowledge and infrastructure to stake your coins for you, you might need to consider their commission fees or, in general, if they are a trusted validator. Finally, be mindful of the terms of your reward pay. It might be that you'll get your rewards paid in a few days, months, or a year. Be aware of that. So, what are some strategies you can use when you start staking your coins? Number 1. Use stablecoins to earn low-risk yields. And now you might ask, what's a stablecoin? Well, it's simple. It's a crypto coin pegged to a fiat currency. And one such coin will always be worth 1 unit of that currency. The most known of these are Tether and USDC. Stablecoins have the lowest market risk, as they are fluctuating according to fiat currencies. Most currencies are pretty stable, though in countries like Turkey or Venezuela, this might not be the case. In fact, for them it might be even useful to invest in a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar to keep their wealth. To compare, coins like Bitcoin or Ethereum have high market risk because their value is constantly fluctuating, depending on the digital market modes. But the higher risk you take, the higher yield you might get. Level of risk is an essential component of the yield, or in other words, network participation paid on investment. Number 2. Diversify your investments. A good old saying says not to keep all of your eggs in one basket, and this rings true over centuries. In crypto, staking both into low and higher risk coins can be a medium risk investment strategy. For example, you can stake some stable USDC coins and then some higher risk coins like Dogecoin or Polkadot. Number 3. Invest on different platforms. Just in case one of them experiences a hack or turns out to be a scam. To avoid scams, carefully read white, yellow, and beige papers of projects before joining, where you can familiarize yourself with the general idea and the technicalities of the network. And finally, there's an option number 4, taking a risk and investing the amount of money you're not afraid to lose into a more volatile coin such as Bitcoin or Ethereum. Let us remind you that in this video, we are not giving all of this as financial advice, but are rather informing you of several staking strategies you should carefully evaluate before making a move. That's all for now. If you would like to learn more about the basic crypto world concepts and ideas, be sure to subscribe to this channel and look forward to more educational content very soon.